Hello, friends. This is Anurag from ORB Academy. Yesterday, I was requested on my Twitter timeline by many of you to discuss about the Cadilla healthcare stock because Cadilla has been given some nod for a COVID-19 medicine, and many of you wanted to know how it looks on the charts. So, this video is for that. We'll have a look at the various time frames and what we see in the various time frames and assess what we see on this particular stock. So the first thing which I will always want to look at is the multiple time frame, and find out what is happening on the various time frames for this particular stock. So here I've got the various time frames. Now we have got the 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1 day, and that is daily and weekly. So on this chart, if we see this, the shortest time frame, that is the 5 minutes time frame, we see there was an impulse which got generated, and this was probably the time when the news came out, and we see a big candle, a momentum candle getting formed here, and then which was followed again by a couple of other momentum candles. So this was a place where the interest actually got generated, and this is exactly when I think many of you wrote to me asking for a study here. So definitely on the 5 minute start, the impulse has come in, and this impulse is a very strong impulse, as we can see. Simultaneously, if we see on the 15-minute charts, the impulse also got generated at around 2:45 on the 15 minute chart also. So this was another thing, that we had a simultaneous impulse getting generated on two time frames. Then on the 30 minutes chart, we have ICMC which got generated here. So this is also something which is quite positive here. And on the 1 hour chart, we see the ICMC getting generated again on the last bar, the last 1 hour bar, which again augurs well for this particular stock. As far as the daily chart is concerned, we see that there was an impulse already generated, which was on 6th of April. This was the time when probably people had some news, or maybe it was a pharma stock which was working its way up. So this was a time when the entry was suggested at around 455 levels. And of course, on the weekly time frame, we see that it was generated around 400, 500 levels. There was a tiny IC buy here. So overall, this stock is in a very good bullish frame of mind, and definitely it is something which is worth considering. Now we'll try to go inside the various time frames, especially the higher time frames, to have a look at what's happening there. So I will start with the 30 minutes time frame. So we have here the 30 minutes time frame. So here, if we see, the stock kind of made a top here, and then it kind of retraced. But then, if you see, it actually maintained the overlap here. So this was a good sign, because this overlap here suggests this no overlap zone suggests that the stock has some intention of doing something big. So this was a good sign on the 30 minutes chart, and of course we see candle shunting, the last two candles showing candle shunting here. So this was quite a fast move here, and of course it has also turned on the 30 minutes chart. We see that the CCI has also turned more than 100 here. So basically it's bullish on the CCI front also. Let's actually get into the 1 hour chart and see. The 1 hour chart is, now this is the 1 hour chart. So on this particular chart also, it shows good strength. It actually shows good strength. So the last overlap here is at this particular place, and this overlap is still intact here. So we see that on the 1 hour chart also, the overlap is in an overlap zone. So that's something nice. On the daily chart, now this is the daily chart. As I discussed, that the daily chart actually showed good retracement, and then there was an impulse which got generated, and the impulse is still carrying. So the strength is already there. And of course, it has not retraced much on the daily chart, as we see that the stock is actually in a very bullish frame of mind. What I generally also do is that when I check the stocks, I will also like to check in few other parameters. And one parameter which I love checking is the moon parameter. So what's happening here as far as the moon indicator is concerned? So we see that the moon indicator here shows a few tops and bottoms getting formed. And this maroon color line which you see, they are basically the lines for the void of course moon, that is the warm period. And of course the purple lines are the moon in nodes. So if you see here that there was this worm here which actually formed the base, and this was almost the place of the trigger on the daily chart. So this worm actually supported the price here, and the price never fell below this. So this actually marked a uh, kind of a beginning of a new trend here. And then of course on the moon in nodes here, you see there was a big spike here on this particular day. This was the moon in nodes day, where it spiked. There was a nice spike on the long side. And then the latest was this warm day on 22nd, when we see that this particular stock kind of corrected, and looks like that this should also act like a support here. This should also, this particular low on this particular bar should act like a support here. Another very interesting thing is the placement of the new moon and the full moon days. If you see that I've plotted the full moon and the new moon days here. So uh, as you can see that, wherever the moon is plotted, this actually marked the high of the trend, and this was the low of the trend, and again similarly this was the high of the trend. This was the kind of the low of the trend. Again here we have the high of the trend, we have the low of the trend. Then again here we had a trend which marked the high, it corrected, somewhat corrected, and now it has actually crossed this. So it is possible that the next moon, that is the no moon day, which is around 27th, we may see a high getting formed and higher than this, and that may be the lower. It could be a price which also marks the bottom and gives us further rise. So this is on the daily chart. And now the question is, how where can this stock actually travel to? So for that, I would like to get into the weekly or the monthly chart. So to see my targets. So here on the weekly chart also, if we see this stock actually is doing very well on the weekly chart, we see. Now for the possible target for this particular stock, I would like to go to the monthly chart, and then I would pull out the Fibonacci retracement, and I would try to draw the Fibonacci retracement from the last top to the last bottom which it made. This was somewhere here. So what I can see here is that it has actually just crossed the last top at 558 and around 570 levels. So we can expect this to travel to around 779, 780 levels in the days to come. So this is how I will evaluate this particular stock. This stock will definitely be a buy for me, and a stock to watch out for. So hope this was useful. Thank you very much.